Almost all my life they told me that I couldn't. Dreaming every night they told me that I shouldn't. Told me that I should've quit, that I'll never finish it, that I'll never reach the top and no one knows that I exist. But I kept climbing, kept grinding every day, and I kept writing everything I had to say. Now they wanna shut me up, shut me in, shut me out. Yeah, I'd be mad too if someone made me shut my mouth. But it's different when you never had a voice, when no one ever listened, so you never had a choice. Never had a path, only people in your way. Never had a mask or a reason to be fake. All you had was you and a reason to succeed. All you had to do was keep believing in the dream. All you ever knew was being weak and on your knees. But you're only gonna lose if you don't learn from your defeats. Yeah, gotta make the world know my name. I've got my head in the clouds, my feet on the ground. Yeah, I'm standing on it, I am not afraid. With my head in the clouds, never looking down. Yeah, I'll never stop until the world knows my name.
And welcome to another episode of Too Much Pod Tower, as we are getting really excited for the playoffs, and you're gonna know, you already know our names, but you're gonna get to know all the names of the players on the teams in the postseason right now, as we had that little song there at the beginning called "My Name" from Ashes to New. So you're gonna end up knowing everyone's names. Somebody's gonna come out and be a star is going to be born here in the postseason. So we'll see what happens. We got wild cards. The first wild card tonight with the Brewers and Nationals. Max Scherzer going on the mound for the Nationals against Zach Davies for the Brewers. And Nationals came out and said they're going to be going with Scherzer for probably six or seven innings, and then going to Steven Strasburg for the last few innings. So we're going to get into more of predictions and stuff like that, but I don't know if the Brewers really have much of a shot against that. So yeah, so that's tonight, that game. And then you got tomorrow night the AL wild card, the Rays and the A's. And I got the Squirrel creator Johnny Black on here for us. So thanks for coming on the show, Johnny.
What's going on? Yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't think the Brewers have much of a shot tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it is one game because like we talked about on Tom's what's his last name? Tom
Green's podcast last night.
Yeah, Tom Green's podcast that we did. Both me and Johnny were on last night, and we all talked about how we don't really see the Brewers having much of a shot. But we also talked about if the wild card should be a 3-game series, and if it's just one game, anything can happen. Brewers can get one home run off of Scherzer, and then that could be it. It could be 1-0 game. So in one game, anything can happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, an error, a bloop single, a bad bounce, a bad call. It comes down to the one game. So,
yeah.
But like we talked about yesterday, I mean, I'm for the 3-game series. And I said, we talked about last night. Like I said, they should shorten the season and make the playoffs a little more extensive. But with the one game, if you play 162 games and you put yourself in a position to only be a wild card, well, this is what you get. You have to play the one game to get in. So
yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so we got 10 teams in the postseason. Obviously, the teams I said, the Rays, the A's, Nationals, Brewers, and then you got the Yankees and Twins. They'll be playing each other for the ALDS. And then the Astros will be playing the winner of the Rays and A's. And then you got the Cardinals and Braves facing off of each other. And then obviously the Dodgers will be playing the wild card winner. So those are the teams in it, and those are going to be in at least in about a month and a half. We're going to be seeing the one team standing. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, just when you think. The teams are, everyone's got the different opinions on who's better and whatever, but we'll have to see. Someone gets hot, a couple guys in the lineup get hot. You get a hot pitcher.
Yeah.
That just finds something. You just never know in the postseason.
No.
That's why we watch.
Yep. So, what I want to start off with is just going through like the 10 playoff teams that I mentioned there, and kind of going over the team awards like MVP, Cy Young, and then also maybe some of the biggest surprises, biggest flops, biggest plays, best games, some of the biggest storylines. We don't have to mention all of them for every team, but kind of go over some of the biggest ones that we think of. So I guess we can start off with number 1 seed in the American League in the Houston Astros. So I'll start with you, Johnny, for that. You can do anything. Start with the MVP if you want.
Yeah, well, the MVP has to be Alex Bregman. He might actually win the MVP of the American League. Yes, Trout was great. He missed some time at the end of the year there, but I think Bregman's going to get some votes for the AL MVP. So he's obviously the MVP of the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
He's played the whole season. He moved up to shortstop when Correa was down. Altuve was out for a stretch. Springer was out for a stretch. Obviously their starting pitching is dominant, but Bregman's just showing he's a top-notch player. I mean, he's probably top 3, at least top 5 in Major League Baseball at this point. And the kid's 24, 25 years old. Already won a World Series. He's got postseason experience. I mean, so I think hands down it's Bregman as far as the team MVP. And then you have the two studs at the top of the rotation, Cole and Verlander. I mean, what more can you say about it? Verlander, last start of the season on Saturday, gets his 3,000th career strikeout, his 300th strikeout of the season. Will be in the Cy Young voting, as will Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole he's been amazing this year, which looks great for him heading into a free agent season at 29 years old. He's going to get paid. By whom, we don't know yet. It's going to be interesting. Going to be the sweepstakes. Yeah. Much like Machado and Harper were last offseason, Cole is the big fish in the sea as far as this offseason goes. But I'd have to mention those 3 guys. The surprise to me, I mean, the AL Rookie of the Year is probably going to be from the Astros too, and Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
The dude is just raked as soon as he came up. So he's been a welcomed addition. I honestly don't see a weakness on this team. They're just so good.
Yeah, you can't really find. You have to look really deep to even find any weaknesses. So yeah, I agree with all your picks there for the MVP is Bregman for me too. Cy Young, you just mentioned that both Cole and Verlander, and those would be the top 2 for the American League Cy Young. So it's definitely really close. The voting down is going to be close for those 2. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick one because they've both been so impressive for the Astros all year. So you can't really say one. So I guess I'll just say that for the Cy Young of the Astros it's kind of like a co-Cy Young for that.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, well, like Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling were back in like 2001, 2002 for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
They were kind of the 1-2, 1A, like 1 and 1A. You know what I mean? They both were great. And that's actually the last time, I believe, teammates finished 1-2 in the Cy Young voting was back in 2002 when Johnson won and Schilling finished second.
No. I guess we can move on to the next team. So that'll be the Yankees at number 2 seed in the American League. So I guess I'll start with this MVP has got to go to DJ LeMahieu. He was the biggest free agent signing for the Yankees, and everybody was questioning what happened, but then he turned out to be so impressive for the Yankees all year. Hitting for average, and he had his most home run total of his career. He had finished with I believe it was 24, 25 home runs. So he had a really good season, and just coming in hitting in any situation, driving in runs. Just like what more can you say about the guy? He's definitely been the Yankees MVP, and with all the injuries they've had all year, as we talked about before, that he was able to be the consistent guy there through all the injuries, and I don't think the Yankees would have won. Maybe they wouldn't have won the division if they didn't have him. So, I mean, it's still not saying they wouldn't have for sure, but they might not have got to 100 wins. So, yeah, that's the MVP. Cy Young, it's a tough one because the Yankees pitching has been inconsistent all year, but it's kind of hard because it's got like they're pitching. Well, James Paxton, I can say James Paxton maybe, but he had like a slow first half and kind of he took off in the second half, especially the last couple months. He had 8 wins in a row to end the season. So you can say James Paxton maybe. Masahiro Tanaka definitely has had good starts. So I guess I'd go with Paxton just because the way he finished off the season, and he's kind of took the role of maybe kind of an ace of the Yankees staff. So I guess that would be the Cy Young for the Yankees. Biggest surprise. Well, there's been a lot of surprises for the Yankees this year. Obviously with all the injuries. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. It got cut off again. I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's my phone. Sorry.
That's fine.
I have to stay on top of this thing.
Yeah. I was saying biggest surprise for the Yankees. There's been a lot of surprises. It's kind of hard to pick one with they've had all the injuries and they've had players come up from the minor leagues that have been absolutely really good players, really key additions, and it's the next man up mentality the Yankees have had all year. Gio Urshela has been. I'd probably say he's the biggest surprise. He just came in before he was traded to the Yankees. Everybody he had really good defense when he was on the Indians and the Blue Jays, but he never really had the offense. And then this year he just comes in and hits over 300, drives in a bunch of runs, and he showed off his defense again. And he's just been. Just never expected that to happen. Miguel Andujar started off the season as the Yankees starting third baseman, but then he got, obviously he got injured after the season, and then Urshela comes up from AAA and just goes off. But he's been he's probably been their main surprise. But then there's also been Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman started off slow at the beginning of the year, but then he got a bunch of chances after all the injuries, and then he had really good numbers, and he's really impressive in the outfield. Has a good arm, and now he's it was tough for him to go down for the season. About a month ago he went down for the season, so another injury, but he was definitely a surprise too. So I'd say him and Urshela are probably the biggest surprises for the Yankees. And then, I guess moving on to biggest weakness for the Yankees is definitely the pitching. And it's going to be tough to see if they end up getting past the Twins, the Astros move on to the ALCS, but whatever they face, either the A's or the Rays. But if that's the ALCS, it's going to be tough for the Yankees to match up with the Astros pitching. So it'll be that they'll have to, get to their Astros pitching. They're going to have to use their bats a lot, and they can't get shut down. If they get shut down, then they really don't have much of a shot, in my mind. But Johnny, do you want to do your Yankees awards?
Yeah, I'll throw on the Yankees. I mean, I agree with you. One of the guys I will want to mention for the Yankees as far as a surprise, I mean, I agree with you with DJ LeMahieu. I'd like to throw in Gleyber Torres in there too.
No,
because the kid's really coming up. I mean, he was a rookie last year. He's, he stepped in. He moved around the infield a little bit. He and DJ both did. And Torres is showing why he was a top pick, why he was, so coveted when the Yankees traded Chapman a few years ago, and why they wanted Gleyber Torres. He's showing it. Kid's still young. He's got power. He can play the field up the middle. So I would throw him as like co-MVP, so to speak, because he's been fairly healthy all year. What did he play, 130 games this year, 140 games? So he's been pretty healthy too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I give Gleyber Torres a little credit. Also, one of the big surprises to me, honestly, is Luke Voigt. I'd have to throw him in there. I agree with Gio Urshela because his offense was never there. All of a sudden, he started hitting this year. And the weird thing, I just wanted to mention, too, the weird thing about DJ LeMahieu, career high in home run after he gets out of Coors Field. It's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
So strange. So the balls aren't juiced? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a little strange. But anyway, aside from that, I'd like to mention because a lot of people, again, expecting Greg Bird this year. Unfortunately, had injuries again. I don't know if the guy's ever going to see the field. But Voigt, a lot of people liked him, but they were cautious. Just as especially a lot of fantasy baseball owners this year were cautious on Luke Voigt because he had a great stretch last year. But that was the end of the year. That was half a season.
Yeah.
And the guy, it was his first year in the majors last year. He showed well, but what was he going to do in a full season in the major leagues? And he's proved it. He hits the ball hard. He's got some decent discipline. He's arguably the best first baseman in the American League. Honestly, all the great first basemen are in the National League. Aside from probably Jose Abreu and maybe this year Dan Vogelbach from Seattle, I put Luke Voigt up at least top 3 first baseman in the American League this year.
Yeah,
so
I would agree with that.
He's been a little bit of a surprise for me that he's kept this going this year. But, other than that, James Paxton's the ace. Tanaka's got the experience and everything. And now you guys got Severino back. Don't know how much they're going to stretch out Severino. I'm sure they're trying to stretch him out more. It seems that way the past few games. Like I said, Tanaka's got the experience, but Paxton's got the best stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Paxton is a Cy Young caliber pitcher if he puts it all together.
Yeah.
And like you said, 8 straight wins to end the season. He's finding his groove, getting in it. So, as a Twins fan, I'm scared of Paxton. I'm not really scared of the other guys.
No.
Paxton scares me though, because he when he's on, he's just as good as anyone else.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I'll move on to my Twins. Being we're playing each other.
Oh yeah. So you want to go first?
Yeah. But as far as the Twins go, MVP for the Twins, it's a tough one to call because they've all stepped up this year. But honestly, I got to probably throw Nelly Cruz in there. I know he's the DH, and I know he missed a few games in the beginning of the year. But the dude came in. He's 38 years old. He had 40 home runs. And I think I know we talk about it a lot and stuff like that, but I think he had such a great influence on the locker room. Veteran guy, kind of took some players under his wing. I mean, Sano has produced better this year, and that was part of why they signed Cruz, because they felt that a veteran player like him could kind of bring Sano along, have him mature a little bit. Polanco had a career year this year. Max Kepler has been great. He might actually win a Gold Glove in right field. I mean, his defense has improved incredibly. He had 36 home runs. He's finally starting to hit lefties again, which he showed a little last year. So, I mean, it's the bats in general, but I think Nelly Cruz was a large part of that this year. So I think bringing him in was a huge thing for the Twins. Just from the veteran presence, plus the 40 home runs doesn't hurt. So I would give the team MVP to him. As far as the pitching goes, I mean, Barrios can be an ace. He's had a good year. I'd have to give it to him, but also a nod to the bullpen because the bullpen's been deep this year, which is something we really haven't had the past few years. Taylor Rogers and guys like that. Taylor Rogers has been a rock there. So I'd have to give the bullpen a nod too, as far as Cy Young, Barrios, and Taylor Rogers. And then I don't know, surprise this year. Surprise this year has to be Mitch Garver. I mean, the kid's 28 years old. He's a late bloomer. And I believe he had 31 home runs this year as a catcher. I mean, no, we expected him to hit, but his defense has actually come around a lot this year, which is great because Jason Castro's on the last year of his deal. And the reason we brought him in a few years ago is partly because we wanted a defensive catcher. Now, Castro's a decent player. He can hit a little bit, takes his walks, got some pop from the left side of the plate. But Mitch Garver has shown this year that, I mean, honestly, this year, we'll see if he can do it again in a full season next year and everything like that. But honestly, Mitch Garver this year was probably the best catcher in the AL overall. When you look at defense and the hitting, I mean, and he's like we said, my name, like the world's going to know my name. He's a guy that I could see making a name for himself in the playoffs because no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
You know, and for a catcher to play above average defense, to hit 31 home runs in his first full season in the majors, it's pretty impressive. So that was definitely a welcome surprise.
Yeah, I agree with all your picks. I think Cruz is probably their team MVP. You know, obviously Jorge Polanco is definitely in that conversation as well. They both had really good seasons. I don't really have much else to add to that, but you know, Barrios is the Cy Young. I agree with that one too. And as you said, the bullpen has been impressive, and that can be what, you know, gets them past the Yankees. The bullpen, you know, the Yankees bullpen has been all good all year, but I don't know, it might be tough in the postseason, especially if they might be, you know, tired out after the season. They've been used a lot, so we'll see what happens with I think it's going to come down to the bullpens in that series, honestly, because I mean they're going to be hitting a lot of home runs as we talked about on Tom Green's pod last night, but I think whoever can, you know, shut the team down in the later innings is going to end up being the one who wins the series.
Yeah, it's going to be the pitching it's going to be the pitchers on which side that keep the balls in the ballpark. Because It's not going to be easy. Both teams hit over 300 home runs this year. And it's insane.
Yeah. First,
you know,
go ahead.
Thing is too, up and down the lineup, both lineups, everyone hits home runs.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just you depending on, say, like Judson Stanton or Nelly Cruz and Max Kepler. It's like everybody. You got Rosario, Polanco, Mitch Garver. On the Yankee side, you still got Torres, you got Sanchez, DJ LeMahieu. You got everybody. I mean, from 1 through 9 on both lineups, any one of those guys can ball. Yeah. It's just a matter of who's going to get hot, and like you said, the bullpens. Because I don't see, comparing their starting pitching, I don't see either side with really an ace. I mean, I know, like I said, Paxton and Berrios, okay. But other than that, I don't see the starters lasting that long.
No. Especially the Yankees, like the last few weeks of the season, they kind of did like what's the word for it? Like they started with the starter, and then they bounced off of the starter with another starter. Like they had the first one go 4 innings, and then the next one go 3 innings. So they tried that. So that might be something they do. They just try to go 4 innings with Severino, say, or Paxton, and then go with the next one. Go with like a Tanaka or somebody like that afterwards, or even CC Sabathia, because he'll be in the bullpen too. So.
I think you're going to see that. I think you're definitely going to see that more and more, league wide, not just the Yankees and Twins, but I think with the exception of like Verlander, Cole, Scherzer, Kershaw, with the exception of guys like that, honestly, I think you're going to see that a lot.
Yeah.
And especially with the Yankees and Twins, they're not going to want their pitching to see guys third time around. Maybe even not the second time around, really. So, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of that, like 3 innings here, 3 innings there, 3 innings there.
Yeah.
Because the Twins could pretty much do the same thing. I mean, someone like Barrios or Paxton, like I said, may go longer. If they're cruising, they'll let them go like a 6 innings or so. But some of the other guys, I look at the Twins. I look at like Kyle Gibson. If he can get through the lineup once, maybe a second time through 4 innings or something like that, I could see them bringing in another one of the starters. So it'd be interesting to see how the managers actually manage, because we're talking about both managers too, and they're both probably up for the manager of the year.
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
Interesting to see how they work it.
Yeah, so we kind of already did like a series preview for the Yankees and Twins there, so that's what I guess we can just go right into our predictions for that series, even if you want.
Yeah, well, we know how that's
yeah, we know how. We both gonna say our team, so, but
yeah, well, we have to, gotta have faith.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said on Tom Green's pod, I'm taking Yankees in 5. It'll still go the distance, just because I think the Twins are able to. It might be a back and forth type of series. Like the Yankees take the first game at home, then maybe the Twins will take the second one, then the third one. Twins take the fourth, the Yankees take the fifth, something like that. That could be a possibility. So.
Yeah, I could say. Well, I'll have to go with the Twins in 5 because I think they're going to keep it, like you said, like a series between the first 4 games. And I think Game 5 is, like we said about the wild card, it's 1 game. Then it comes down to 1 game, and anything can happen. Someone gets hot, hits a couple home runs. Pitcher, depending on who starts at Game 5, I don't know how their rotation's going to line up that way or whatever. But at that point, it's all hands on deck. So I don't know. I really think the Twins can take it. So I have faith this year.
I'm gonna kind of bounce off of what Tom Green said last night. Like he said, if the series goes 5 games, the Yankees will win at home because they're at Yankee Stadium. And I think that, like he said, I think the only chance the Twins really have is if they can shorten it to 4 games. So I don't know if they can win at Yankee Stadium. I don't know. Yeah.
Let me throw this out there. The Twins are the only team in the major leagues to have 50 wins on the road this year. So they can play on the road. They can play away from – and they were actually the best team in the major leagues this year. So that's why I'm saying, just because the Yankees have the home field in 5th game, if it goes that far, don't count the Twins out. Because they can definitely play on the road this year, so which gives me confidence because that wasn't the case for a long time with Minnesota.
Yeah,
they couldn't play on the road. They were good at home. They couldn't play on the road. Blah blah blah. But this year's been different, and I think this is a totally different team. I mean, 2 years ago, I know we faced you guys, and that was a 1-game playoff. So it was 1 game. Both Barrios and Severino were nervous. Obviously, the first inning it was like, Dozier hit the home run, and then Didi comes back and hits the home run in the bottom of the first. And that was 1 game. This is a 5-game series, and I think this is why I think the Twins will get the monkey off their back and actually beat the Yankees. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we can move on to the next team, which would be just the wild card teams, Yankee, Rays and A's. So I guess like team MVP and all that stuff. So Rays.
Go ahead.
Oh. MVP, I'd say that's a tough one too for that one. Well, Cy Young is definitely Charlie Morton, so that's a pretty easy one for Cy Young. He'll probably finish as the third, or at least he'll finish top 3 in the Cy Young running for the league. And he's been really impressive this year after coming over from the Astros. So it'll end up being three current or former Astros in the Cy Young running. So that's pretty interesting. The Astros, they've been known for having such great pitching over the last few years, and then even the ones they still have, and then even when guys move over from to a different team, they end up still being dominant. Just like I guess it's just the way the Astros culture is. It's just like their pitching is going to be good no matter what. It seems like. I don't know, MVP. Do you want to go first for MVP? I'm trying to think of who I'd give it to.
Yeah, I'd probably go for MVP. I mean, obviously, like you said, Cy Young, Charlie Morton, Austin Meadows. I mean, the Rays don't have anybody that really hits the ball over the fence except for Meadows. I mean, Tommy Pham had 21 home runs. They have a couple guys that can hit the ball over the fence, but Meadows missed like 20 games this year, and he's still at 33 home runs.
Yeah.
He's been a steal. We all know the debacle of the trade, how the Rays destroyed Pittsburgh with that Chris Archer trade, and Austin Meadows. And to mention another guy in that trade is Tyler Glasnow, who just came back in September from his injury, and he's been lights out. They've been using him as the opener, but he's been getting stretched out little by little. Like he's pitched 2 innings, 3 innings, 3 innings, and then 4 1/3 in his last start, so to speak. So in the last 4 games, he's pitched 10 1/3 innings, but did 16 strikeouts, and he's only given up 4 hits and 3 walks, and no runs. So he's been dominant. He's going to be, I think, the X factor for the Rays if they get past Oakland.
Yeah,
because I think they could piggyback. I believe they're starting Morton tomorrow, wild card game.
Oh yeah, I think so.
So they can go with Morton.
I think they said Snell for the wild card, actually.
Did they? I thought they were going with Morton. Okay. Well, if they go Snell, I mean, Snell had an injury this year too. If they piggyback Snell and Glasnow, that could be scary for the A's hitting. Because, Snell's on point, and he can go 5. And you have Glasnow, who's stretched out enough to go 4 and finish the game home. That's not bad. That's not a bad problem to have right there.
No.
And if they get past the A's, then they can start Morton, game 1 against the Astros. Morton against his old team.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be kind of interesting. So I'd have to obviously cite him, like you said, Charlie Morton, because he's probably top 3 with Verlander and Cole in the American League this year, as far as the voting goes.
Yeah.
But definitely MVP for the team. I'd have to go Meadows, and I'd have to throw in Tommy Pham as like a second, just because he was a 2020 guy this year, played solid defense in the outfield. But the thing with the Rays, they've gotten contributions from everybody. They got 15 guys on their squad that played 50 games this year. So they've gotten a little bit from everybody. Joey Wendell came back, wasn't that great, but he's been decent. Nate Lowe, Brandon Lowe, or Lau, however you say their names. One guy's mentioned pronounced Lau, one mentioned Lowe, pronounced Lowe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Kiermaier was solid this year. 14 home runs, 19 stolen bases. Obviously, Gold Glove caliber defense in center. So I mean, the Rays have a solid team as far as the team goes. They really don't have any stars.
No.
So it'd be interesting if they can get past the A's.
Yeah, I agree with the. I agree with your Meadows MVP pick. I said Morton for Cy Young. Really a player, just an overall of the team. I didn't think they would be able to do as good as they did. Well, I kind of thought the Red Sox would end up, overtaking them in the second half of the season, but surprised the Rays kind of fell off there a little bit, and I thought maybe the Indians would overtake them for the second wild card. Rays still got in there, and they're facing off against the A's. So
Yeah, I thought the Red Sox were going to be better this year too. But so moving on to the A's.
Mm-hmm. A's. What happened?
I'll talk about them a little bit. The A's MVP. I mean, for me, it's Marcus Semien.
Mm-hmm.
Has really stepped up this year. He played all 162 games this season, which is a rarity nowadays. You don't see that anymore. And he's honestly probably third for me in MVP voting in the American League after Trout and Bregman.
Mm.
I mean, he's improved his defense incredibly, and at shortstop, it's a premium position. He's improved to create 892 OPS this year, 33 home runs. The guy's just showing he's an all-around player, leads off of the team. I give Matt Chapman a lot of credit. He's a great – and the whole left side of that infield is obviously, they eat everything up.
Mm-hmm.
But, Oakland – I'd have to give it to Semien, but also they've been good. I mean, Mark Canha.
Yeah.
He had a decent year. 26 bombs, But obviously Matt Chapman, Matt Olson at first base. They got a good squad. Definitely have a good squad. And they're pitching. I mean, they looked like they might falter this year with Trinan getting hurt. He was horrible at the beginning of the year. Then he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And but Liam Hendricks has stepped up, been great at filling in for the closer role. And even their starters. I mean, Montas was great in the beginning of the year, but he got suspended.
Yeah.
And Manaea was hurt. He's come back strong. He's 4-0 since he came back in September. Granted, he hasn't played anybody. I mean, he's pitched against Seattle and Texas. But, hey, I'll still take the 4 with 30 Ks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, guys like Brett Anderson, Mike Fiers, and Chris Bassett have all sub-4 ERAs. They're solid. They pitch to contact, which they can do with that team because Semien and Chapman on the left side of the infield are vacuums. So it allows their guys like Anderson and Fiers, who are contact pitchers, not strikeout guys, it allows them to pitch to contact. And if they continue getting that soft contact, there's double plays all day. So I think Oakland going with the preview too of the wild card. I mean, we might as well get it out of the way. But I think Oakland's going to take it. I think Oakland just has a little more firepower. I think their pitching can shut down the Rays because the Rays don't have the lineup. And I think the A's can walk into a few as far as a couple bombs against either Glasnow. And Oakland's at home, big ballpark. I think Oakland's going to take this one. Yeah,
I agree with you there for sure. As I said last night on the Green Pod, he mentioned that the crowd is definitely going to be a factor with that with that ballpark, as you said. They get loud in there and they're going to be rowdy, and I think it's going to be a huge factor in the game.
The drums and the bells and stuff.
And then I'm looking here. Actually, the A's just announced that Manaea he is going to start the game tomorrow. So, as you said, he's the last few starts he's won at a 1.21 ERA. He's obviously against not so good opponents, but he's still pitched really good since coming back, and I think he'll be able to start strong tomorrow against the Rays. So yeah, I'll say I think it'd be fair. Or I think it'd be a fairly close game, but I think the A's are going to take it. Maybe I'll say 4-2 is my prediction.
Yeah, I can see it being a close game. Yeah, I can see 4-2, 6-4, something like that. Like, yeah, I agree with that. I just think there's going to be the A's just have their lineup. I think has a little more firepower.
Yeah.
Pitching, if they're starting Manaea's been hot since coming off the DL and everything. The IL, sorry. But but yeah, I think they have a little more in their lineup. With pitching being fairly equal in a one-game playoff, I think the A's have a little more in their lineup to score. And the home field never hurts.
All right, so I guess we can go to the National League now.
Yeah.
So we talked about all the American League teams, so now let's go to the National League. Start with the Dodgers here. So the MVP for the Dodgers is pretty obvious with Bellinger, as he's gonna potentially win the league MVP. So he's the obvious choice there. I don't think you have any argument there, do you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's Bellinger. I mean, even though Yelich has missed the past few weeks, I think Yelich still gives him a fight, and Yelich might actually win it, but I don't know. It's going to be tight, the NL MVP race, but Bellinger's obviously the Dodgers MVP.
Yeah. I just don't think Yelich will win just because he got hurt, and then the Brewers still made the playoffs. It kind of hurts his chances.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be recency bias. I still like Rendon. I mean, I was still pulling for Rendon, but what Bellinger did, I mean, he's had an incredible year. But so is Rendon, and I think Rendon's been consistent all year. Bellinger had a great first half, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. I mean, he's been good, don't get me wrong. So I don't know how much recency bias is going to play into that either. But we'll see. Bellinger, like I said, yeah, you're right. Bellinger is obviously the team MVP.
Moving on to Cy Young, if I give it to Ryu, he'll be in the race for the league Cy Young, and he and so he was. What the hell is going on? Can you hear me?
I don't know. You're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Oh, something came up on the screen that said like trying to connect, like it wasn't connected. I don't know. But yeah, Ryu. He's definitely a Dodger. And then I guess they don't really have any weaknesses, Dodgers, so they're going to be a tough team to face, especially their pitching. Pitching is solid with Ryu leading that. And what are your thoughts on the MVP and Cy Young?
Yeah, definitely Bellinger. I mean, Ryu, I don't know. I throw him in there. All three of them. I mean, Kershaw. Yeah. Kershaw is not the Kershaw of 4 years ago, but nevertheless, he's still Clayton Kershaw. And then we know about his postseason troubles, but that's neither here nor there at this point. I mean, you never know. It's a new season, new postseason. And Walker Buehler has been great.
Yeah.
So they have a tough top three. When you throw in Rich Hill, who's kind of an opener, and the only thing that worries me about the Dodgers is their bullpen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kenley Jansen's been a little shaky this year. With the home runs and stuff that he's given up. I just don't know the depth of bullpen. I think they're going to have to count on their starters a little more to go a little longer.
Hmm.
But I mean, their lineup is crazy. The starters, like I said, the top three starters are great.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I don't know who they're going to face in the out of the wild card teams, but this is why I also picked Washington to go to the World Series because I
Yeah.
think Washington can beat them.
Me too. Yeah. But yeah, I think if the Brewers win tonight, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it does happen, I don't think they'll be able to beat the Dodgers. But well, even though last year they did, obviously they did go to 7 games last year, but they don't have Yelich this year, so I don't think they have much of a chance if they do make it out of the wild card. So I think the Dodgers' best matchup would be the Dodgers' best competition would be the Nationals for sure, especially with their rotation. Corbin, Scherzer, Strasburg. They've been probably the best top three in the league.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we can move on to the Braves. Braves, I guess now.
Yeah. Second seed.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you want to start? I
Yeah.
guess I'll go to you first for that.
Yeah, the Braves have been. The Braves are, like I said last night. The Braves were a surprise to me because I didn't think they had the pitching to actually make it. But their lineup is crazy. I mean, looking at the beginning of the year, they re-signed Nick Markakis. Obviously, he wasn't going to have a year like he did last year, and that's fine. But Josh Donaldson has been incredible this year, and honestly, I'd put him as the team MVP because I don't think this was expected. I think they thought they'd play Donaldson some until sorry about that. Until say Austin Riley came up, be able to take over third base and everything. But Donaldson's been 37 home runs this year. He's back to MVP form, and he's been incredible. He stayed healthy all year, which has been his problem the past few years. But I would say he's the Braves MVP. I mean, you can look at Acuna, you can look at Freddie Freeman's always there. Ozzie Albies had a good year, blah, blah, blah. But I think Donaldson MVP because he was such a surprise at the kind of production he had this year. I think I'd have to put him there. As far as Cy Young for the team, I don't know. Kind of tough to say, but I'd have to go with Soroka. There's another surprise kind of. They brought him up this year, and he's been lights out. Aside from Pete Alonso and Fernando Tatis Jr., who got hurt, Soroka's probably rookie of the year. Top three. With Sean Newcomb going to the bullpen, they still got Teheran and Fultonavich. Fultonavich been up and down. Teheran's always solid, but I don't know. So I'd have to go with Soroka as their Cy Young, to be honest, and their rookie.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick, and I with Soroka, I think he'll end up finishing in the top three of the rookie of the year race. Behind Alonso and probably Tatis Jr. second. Maybe even he could end up passing Tatis Jr. to be second. So, with the kind of recency bias with that too, with the injuries or picks. So, but Alonso obviously is going to win it, so it doesn't really matter who's second and who's third. But, but yeah, I agree with Josh Donaldson. I think he's been the MVP as well, and he's the surprise for the team as well too. He's kind of had like a jump start to his career. He just came in to Atlanta and just kind of took off again. So he's been really good, impressive this year, and obviously Acuna Jr. got to give him some love too with the way he's played, and now still as young as he is, he's probably one of the best young players in the league right now. to make it all the way this year.
Yeah, I'd give them a chance.
Then Cardinals are a tough team. Is Jack Flaherty? He's been their Cy Young this year. He's game one. I think they're taking one lead there with that. I don't think the Braves are be able to do much of anything against him. So I think that'll get them down early in the series. But then I don't. The series in 5, they'll win the last game at home and win the series. It'll be kind of like we said with the Yankees and Twins. I think it'll be back and forth. The first 4, maybe go one wins and the first, and then the other one wins the second, or whatever. So something like that. I think it'll definitely be a close series. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Who comes out, who breaks out and gets hot. So, and I said MVP, right now. So, Josh Donaldson, my MVP. Soroka. I know I didn't say MVP of Cardinals yet. I don't know. The Cardinals MVP has been some good guys in there that you can talk about. So now, not really one that stands out as much with them, but they definitely had some. Yadi is not. Yadier Molina is obviously not the player he used to be, but he's still a really good catcher. He's been solid all year. Obviously he's probably not the MVP, but he's still been consistent guy there. Because he's been really solid. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. If I give it to him too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go. I'd have to go probably up the middle for St. Louis as far as the MVP. I mean, Paul DeJong and Colton Wong have both been really good this year. I mean, Colton Wong might win a Gold Glove at second base.
Yeah.
He's been incredible defensively. And his offense has come around. DeJong is justifying his extension. I think the Cardinals gave him an extension this offseason. I think 5 years, $25 million or something. They got him cheap. Power hitting shortstop. So I mean, he's been good. Goldschmidt's Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he fell off a little in the beginning. He got hot. It's what he is. He's a little streaky of a player. Marcell Ozuna's still around. Yachty is still the rock beyond the plate. I just don't know. Aside from Flaherty, I just don't think I'll have to agree with you with the Braves in 5. I just don't think the Cardinals pitching is going to be enough to stop the Braves lineup in 5 games. I think, like you said, the Cardinals could take game 1, possibly. But I'll even go so far as to say maybe the Braves take the next 3. So I'll go Braves in 4.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're going to run it. I think they're going to run into Flaherty in game 1. He's going to shut them down. But I think the Braves get the bats going after that, and I think they can take 3 in a row. Even if Flaherty comes back for game 4 on short rest.
Yeah.
I think the Braves' bats are just too good.
Yeah, I could definitely see 4 games there for that. And then maybe even they could end up, if they get to Flaherty, it's a possibility they even sweep on. I'm going to go out and say that if Flaherty doesn't shut them down, they get the offense going in game 1. I think they have a potential to sweep.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we can move on to the wild cards for the National League now, which is going to be tonight, starting at what 8, a little
8:00
after 8:05 or whatever it is.
something like that. 8:09, I think.
Oh,
Where it is. Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be Nationals and Brewers. Nationals, as we talked about already with the pitching, their pitching is what's been able to carry them. Especially their top three, as we mentioned. So Scherzer, I'd give Scherzer the Cy Young. He's been obviously missed a few games there with an injury, but then he came back. Pitched that one game. Still think is insane when he came back and pitched with the broken nose and he had a black eye. He looked like he looked like he was on a mission in that game. And I think he's gonna be on a mission in this playoffs. I think, as you talked about, they're your World Series pick. I think I could see them going all the way too, and Scherzer's gonna have a mission, and I think he'll carry the team all the way to the World Series. So I'm going Nationals in the wild card game. That's my prediction for that, but Cy Young, Scherzer. MVP. I go with my mind is blank for a second. I can't think of his name. What the hell?
Rendon?
Yeah, Rendon. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of it. Yeah, this is Rendon, as you talked about. He'll be in the top 3 for the league MVP, and he's been really really impressive this year. And they just offered an extension now too. Just yesterday announced that they offered him an extension, so they're trying to keep him there. He's definitely been a consistent player for them. They definitely a guy they want to keep there. Don't want to lose a guy like that. But yeah, it's Rendon, MVP, Scherzer, Cy Young for the Nationals, and then weakness. I guess. Well, I guess strength is just as we said, pitching. But I guess their weakness is definitely their bullpen. Tonight if the Brewers get to their bullpen, even Strasburg, if they only allow Scherzer to go like six innings or something, they Brewers have a potential there to get to their bullpen and pounce on them, and could win by a run or two or something like that. So I think that's the Brewers' only chance of winning is if they get to the Nationals bullpen, because it's been shaky this year. So, but we'll see though if. So you want to go with your thoughts on the Nationals?
Yeah. Like I said, I picked the Nationals Astros World Series in the beginning of the year, and I'm sticking with it. The Nationals always seem to be the best team on paper going into the season. The Braves took the division, so the Nationals had to play this wild card. But I look at it this way: even if the Nationals even if they pitch Scherzer and then have Strasburg come in, say Scherzer for 7, Strasburg for 2, they can start the NLDS with Corbin, and then go Strasburg, because today would be like a bullpen day for Strasburg, and then you got Scherzer coming back at home for Game 3. You still have their top 3 starters set for the NLDS against the Dodgers, which I don't see the Brewers. I can't see the Brewers doing anything against Scherzer.
No.
The only thing I can see is they might walk into one, like someone like Moustakas or Grandal, because Scherzer is prone to give up a home run here and there. I also don't see the Brewers shutting down the Washington lineup with Rendon and Soto, Eaton, Trey Turner. I just don't see it happening. I mean, I think Washington shuts them down early, scores a bunch of runs, and I don't see this. Honestly, I don't see this being close.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Washington beats them. If I'm going to predict the score, I'm going to say 7-2.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. something like 6-2, 7-3, or whatever.
Yeah, the Cy Young is Scherzer.
Yeah,
But, I mean, even though Scherzer missed time, between Scherzer, Corbin, and Strasburg, I mean, the three of them combined for, like, I think 768 strikeouts this year.
yeah,
They all had over 230. You know, I mean, they're just ridiculous, those top three. The bullpen's going to be the thing.
yeah.
But in the one game wild card today, it's not really going to be a big deal because they don't have to bring anyone in.
No.
They're not going to have to use any relievers. Like Doolittle has been meh this year.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, he started off with like what, an infinity ERA or whatever it was.
yeah, he's been hittable this year.
Yeah.
You know, he's giving up the long ball. He's been getting hit around. I mean, he still doesn't walk really anybody, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He's leaving too much stuff over the plate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, for Washington, they picked up Daniel Hudson at the trade
Oh
deadline.
yeah. Right.
Really good
Yeah.
for them. You know, so I mean, using him as a closer, and Doolittle to get the lefties out, you know, that might work for them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we'll see how Dave Martinez works that. You know, but I think the Nationals roll the Brewers today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping for a close game, but I don't know if it's I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But you never know.
Yeah.
Like we said, one game, you don't know.
That's why we watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess we did all. Well, we didn't do the Brewers yet, but we kind of talked about the Brewers a little bit in the game tonight. But obviously MVP is Yelich, but he's not going to be in the game. He's not playing as he went down with that injury. But he's definitely the MVP for the Brewers. As you know, he had it probably would have. Honestly, he probably could have won. Definitely could have won over Bellinger if he stayed healthy. But you know, with the recency thing, with the Brewers still making the playoffs without him, I don't know if he will, but still, he's been the Brewers MVP. Obviously, with the home runs, sitting for average, driving in runs and all that. But you know, he picked up where he left off last year, the second half of last year, and I never expected it at all. I thought he would have fallen off a little bit, but he kind of just kept on rolling along like he was last year.
Yeah, he's been amazing this year.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame that they don't have him for the playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd like to throw in one of the best free agent signings of the offseason for the Brewers, for anyone in the major leagues, but for the Brewers to get Yasmani Grandal
Oh yeah, for sure.
behind the plate. I mean, the guy's been incredible. Plays great defense, 28 bombs this year, switch hitting catcher. I mean, what more can you ask for? He's arguably, I mean, I'd say arguably the top catcher in the major leagues. I'd definitely put him top 3.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe JT Realmuto I might put ahead of him. You know, possibly, but I mean, it's definitely close. And I mean, for the Brewers to sign him to the 1-year deal this year, I mean, that was huge for them.
Yeah.
I think Randall might come up big today. You know, I don't think the Brewers are going to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if he hits a bomb off Scherzer, if he's the one to do it.
Yeah, I can see that.
The pitching was what killed the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
It's what hurt them last year. It's what's hurting them this year. They have no true ace.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of the game nowadays is bullpens. But you look at the teams that are in the playoffs, they have at least one guy that they can rely on. You know, the Brewers don't have that. They have Woodruff, they have Zabies, you know, Chase Anderson, like Gio Gonzalez they brought back. Like, I mean, you know, they just don't have anyone. The only reliable guy is Hader. He's a relief pitcher.
Oh yeah.
He's ridiculous, but you know, I just don't see them. Even if they happen to get past Washington tonight,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them beating the Dodgers.
No, I don't either. I think if they make it, they're not going to do what they did last year and even bring it to 7 games. I think the Dodgers are winning 5 in that situation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I was sticking with my original prediction, Washington and Houston in the World Series, and the Nationals are going to win it. I think the Nationals win the World Series this year.
Oh, okay.
I do, because I think if we go to the World Series, I think the Nationals and Houston, I think the Nationals are the only team, maybe the Dodgers, but with the top 3 starters that can match up. Because Scherzer can match up with Verlander. Strasburg can match up with Cole. And Corbin can match up with Greinke.
Yeah.
You know, the lineup is not as good. I think the Astros have a deeper lineup. But I also think that the Nationals have some really good hitting.
Mm-hmm.
With Rendon, Soto, Trey Turner. And those guys are comparable to Bregman, Springer, and Altuve.
Yeah.
So I think in a series, I really think the Nationals can take the Astros.
All right. So you heard it here first. Nationals over the Astros in the World Series, according to Johnny. But I guess before we get into too much of the World Series picks, so I guess we can go ahead and pick our division series picks as well. Well, obviously we did with the Yankees. We did the Yankees and Twins. We did the Braves and Cardinals. We picked those, but then going to the wild card ones. So, well, we'll start with the National League, I guess. So we both said Nationals in tonight. So they'll be going out to face the Dodgers. And obviously you're going to pick the Nationals since you have them going to the World Series. But I'll go with the Nationals as well. I think they'll go to 5 games. It'll be a tight series. I think the Nationals their pitching and just go crazy in the series. As I said, Scherzer's going to be on a mission. I think he's going to be insane in the series, shutting down the Dodgers offense. And I think the Nationals in 5 games. And American League. So did you say? I don't know if we picked the game winner of the AL wildcard yet. Did we?
Well, I think it's going to be Oakland.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't think it's really going to matter because I think Houston's going to sweep whoever they play. To be honest with you,
I could see that if it's the A's, I can see them possibly going to 4 games, possibly taking 1 game.
Yeah, that's a possibility. They're familiar with each other.
Yeah.
You know, they played each other 19 times and everything, but I don't know. I think Houston's a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's going to stop them is serious starting pitching, and that's why I think they're gonna roll to the American League.
Mm-hmm. I think that if the A's do win a game, it'll definitely be at home. They're not going to win they're not going to win a game in Houston.
Yeah.
So they would definitely have to win, game 3, because I think the Astros will win both games, the first 2 games, and then maybe the A's will take game 3, but then the Astros they're cleaned up in the 4th game.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, so we both have Astros. It'll be both. Well, not both. We both have the Astros going on to face. Obviously me facing the Yankees, and then you facing for you it's the Twins. So, and then the National League, we both have Nationals facing off against. We both said Braves, so the Nationals against the Braves. So we're not gonna get into the picks for those series yet, but as we got to see what happens here coming up in the next week, into the next week. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get another show going though, and
Yeah.
making our picks for the championship series and then eventually the World Series. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, things may change going into the next series and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we all make our picks in the beginning of the year, and things change during the season, and and everything. So definitely rolling with Washington tonight and Oakland tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then Twins in Washington for the ALDS
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Yeah. And for me, it's the same except for the Yankees, obviously.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to be going to Yankee Stadium for Game 2, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to be really excited. Like it's the first playoff game I'm going to, so it's going to be crazy in that stadium.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could make it down to New York.
Yeah. That'd be cool if we did that. Like we met up and then did like a live pod like right there.
Yeah. When is Game 2? Yeah, see, I'm working next weekend, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able. Yeah, I don't be able to make it down.
That would be awesome.
I should have planned ahead a lot better.
No. Well, next year.
Next year, we definitely have to hit some games.
Yeah,
we have to do something, to either get together at Yankee Stadium, City Field, Boston. You guys could come up here. I'm up in Boston. I live literally like 6 miles from Fenway Park.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like right here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I drive past it to go to work. I work in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
So it's right there. It's easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we took the train or an Uber or whatever, I mean, it's so easy to get to. Even off the train station, you walk over the bridge and it's right there on the left-hand side. So,
oh yeah,
it's really easy.
Yeah, definitely got to do something for sure. Like at least one game for next summer.
Yeah, we'll have to plan it ahead of time. Let's see
Yeah.
who's coming out, so who can meet us.
Yeah. Try to get the whole Scarecrow baseball group, like the whole entire group.
Yeah, I know. When I was talking to Joey, not too long ago. He was talking about for next year, next spring and stuff, coming out to Boston with his girlfriend and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
If he came out, if you came up, I know Soupy's in Connecticut, so he's not that far away. Jamie's actually in Boston.
Yeah.
He works like 2 blocks away from me in Back Bay in Boston.
You guys even met up yet?
No, we never met up for lunch or anything like that. Like, it's just never worked out. But I know we could definitely get a few guys here.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be definitely cool.
Giro's right in New York, so that'll be.
Yeah, Gio's right in upstate. Yep.
And then, what other guys are there? Well, obviously Marcos is in Arizona, so that's not gonna work.
Yeah, Matt Bishop is actually in Jersey. He's in South Jersey.
Okay.
So he's not that far. Yeah, we definitely get together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess unless there's anything else you wanted to add, I'll just ask you if you want to add anything. Then we've kind of covered all the bases on this podcast. No. Nothing else.
Nothing else to add. Just follow us at the Scarecrow. Check out the Facebook, Reddit, all that stuff, Instagram, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All our social media, and like I said to you before, Alex, we have like 13 articles going out today. We have tons of articles on all the 4 major sports, plus college football. Plus, we throw in a lot of the betting stuff, like DFS and stuff like that. So, definitely.
Yeah, it sucks we never got Joey and Jamie on here. They thought they were gonna come on, but
yeah, Joey was working on his DFS article for tonight for the wild card game.
Yeah.
So, all right, man.
Yeah, I'm also gonna mention here that I actually did make a video, a Yankees postseason hype video. You can check it out on my YouTube page. It's just Alex Keeler, Alex Kielar. Just search that up. and you'll find my page, and it's the most recent video. So everybody check that out, share it, whatever, like it. And also subscribe to my YouTube. I'll be trying to make some more videos like that if I have the time. But then also,
Yeah, definitely.
also the scorecard YouTube, of course. This will be going up there. This podcast will be on there. And then if we can figure out something with the live YouTube, then we can try to do some more of those too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's gonna work. But definitely.
Yeah, I gotta play around with it some more. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that they don't let more people like on one YouTube
Yeah, I don't know.
like they used to. You know, it doesn't. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like the only way we can. It seems like the only way you can do it is like over Skype, and then try to figure out some way to like broadcast over from Skype to YouTube or something. I think there's a way to do it. I think I just got to figure it out.
Yeah, there's got to be some way to do it. I would think. I don't know. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I should go and get edit some of the pieces out of this and try to get it up soon.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Later.